number 3, live from Reseda, California. Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy watching Roger Mayweather and Tony Baltazar. Baltazar, the crowd favorite here in this town of Reseda in the San Fernando Valley. He's from nearby La Puente. And Mayweather from Las Vegas, Nevada, born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Both of them with brothers who are professional boxers, Frankie Baltazar and Floyd Mayweather. Baltazar started at the age of 3. His father, Frank's been in his corner for the past 20 years. A kid boxer and an amateur career that spanned more than 300 fights, including a 1977 National AAU crown. Mayweather fought in the amateurs in Michigan, turned pro in 1981. Won the title from Sammy Serrano, defended it twice, the WBA junior lightweight title at 130 pounds, and then lost it to Lockridge last February.
And Mayweather's really using those legs side to side, moving around. But there's going to be a time in the fight, I'm pretty sure that he's going to have to slow down. Then it's going to become the moment of truth. They'll be banging away at each other after a while. But right now, Mayweather's style is just completely negating anything that Baltazar is trying to do.
Well, if he can keep this up for 10 rounds, it'll be great tribute to his conditioning and getting ready for this fight. We'll certainly find out as it unfolds whether he can keep it up.
There went Baltazar reaching for the head again, Tim, where a good body shot would have landed.
More than halfway through round 3, scheduled for 10. Mayweather won the USBA lightweight title over Ruben Munoz and has fought a couple of other fights at 135 and certainly looks very comfortable carrying the weight. I would think that this is where he wants to stay, despite the desire to win back his title from Lockridge at 130 pounds.
Tim, he's a big guy. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go up to 140.
Well, that's it. He's just 23 years old. So is Tony Baltazar. Two young men with their futures ahead of them, but a little more pressure on Baltazar because he's lost twice on the national season.
See, Tim, here's what happens to these big punches. They become hypnotized. They wait and wait and wait for that one punch, and meanwhile rounds go by, and they're in the bank for the other guy. He should be moving his hands. There he goes again with that big punch. If you can't hit a guy with a jab, you can't hit him with anything. Start out with a jab.
Down to the 22nd mark remaining in round 3. Baltazar in blue, Mayweather in black. Mayweather, with a lot of movement and a good jab, has been able to dominate Baltazar so far. Final seconds, round 3. Round number 4, live from Reseda, California on CBS Sports Sunday. Roger Mayweather in the black trunks, Tony Baltazar in blue. A lightweight battle. Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy here bringing it to you ringside before a live and excited crowd of Tony Baltazar fans predominantly.
Tim, another thing they're going to have to work on Baltazar with in the gym is the fact that the ring is square. It's not round. You have to know how to cut off an opponent and move him into a corner. He's chasing Mayweather around instead of trying to cut the ring off. There he goes again. Mayweather's just going in a circle. There he goes again. Good right hand by Mayweather.
Referee is Lou Moret. He will figure in the scoring with two judges at ringside. Two good solid jabs scored by Mayweather. Movement is frustrating Baltazar. Mayweather's moving. He's always had it, but this is the best that I've seen him move. I mean, he seems to be in such control of his footwork.
Again, that time Baltazar tried to move him behind the jab. That's what's going to get him in there. And he does have a good stiff jab if he would use it. Instead of throwing 2 or 3 around, he could throw 30.
Well, even in watching him work out earlier this week, it was something that we noticed that he was not using it against his sparring partners in preparation for this bout the day we watched him. Round 4 scheduled for 10.
Tim, as you said, a guy like Baltazar can get frustrated in a fight like this. He may wind up coming out of the fight and losing a decision and feel like nothing happened to him. He didn't get hit any hard punches. And the first thing a fighter does when he gets back in the locker room after a fight like that, he'll say, "Get him for me again." I used to always tell my fighters, "You just had him."
Well, that's something that certainly could be the case for Tony Baltazar, and the bell is rung. The bell is rung early.
They made a mistake.
They just had a 2-minute round here, and nobody's picked up on it yet. Now there's some discussion, but they've had a 2-minute round by our clocks, and you could just get the feeling, yet the fighters don't seem to feel that it was a 2-minute round. They're comfortably on their stools, and so far there's been no reaction from the timekeepers. So evidently we're going to have a 2-minute round in this fight. So far there's been no correction from the timekeeper, and that gentleman is Alex Garcia.
Does that mean that you paid less than?
Well, I don't know. I suppose the promoter might raise that after the fact, but in all seriousness, when you've got a minute missing in a round, that could be the difference for one fight or another. If you're in a close fight, one fighter taking that last minute away, who knows? An unfortunate circumstance here. We're into round 5. Baltazar now roughhousing Mayweather, and that there's no question that it's a sign of his frustration. He's in front of his hometown crowd here.
You know, Tim, after that bell rang for the 2-minute round, the fighter must have said to himself, or both of them, boy, I'm in better shape than I thought I was. I'm not even tired.
Well, they both seemed to feel that they had fought for 3 minutes. There was no reaction from the fighters. They were happy to sit down after 2. We're into round 4.5, I guess, at this point. But it is officially round 5 with an error by the timekeepers here at ringside. Now a mouthpiece comes out.
That's a California rule, Tim. They have to stop the fight and put the mouthpiece back in.
Baltazar losing the mouthpiece, so the clock is stopped here, and if the timekeeper had trouble in the last round, this may give him some more in this one, because the clock is stopped when a fighter replaces his mouthpiece. Baltazar trying to corner Mayweather, and unsuccessful so far.
Reaching for the head. When he has Mayweather against the ropes, the first punch will be a solid punch to the body. The body doesn't move.
Now the referee, as the fouling starting to become a little more prevalent here with Mayweather and Baltazar. Baltazar was pushing off out of the last clinch, and the referee, Lou Moret, brought them together and said, come on, guys, let's keep this a good, clean fight. But Tony Baltazar is clearly a frustrated young man. The crowd cheering, chanting, Tony, 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 trying to get him fired up. He did land a left that time to the face of Mayweather.
Well, Mayweather's mouth is starting to open, Tim. Maybe it's a sign that he's getting a little tired.
He's established a furious pace for himself. It seems to me he hasn't needed quite as much movement. He could be pacing himself a little bit more, but he has been going like this since the opening bell.
Tim, this is a 17-foot ring. 3 steps by Mayweather, and he's right across the ring.
And there now Mayweather roughhousing, and when they broke, he did not let the punch go. As Baltazar dropped his hands, Mayweather could have belted him there. So boxing here has been thrown to the winds as these two young men are letting their tempers get the best of them here in round 5.
That will be Baltazar's best chance if Mayweather loses his temper.
Baltazar landed a combination there, and Mayweather ties him up immediately, and Mayweather definitely breathing a little more heavily. About 30 seconds left in this 5th round, a little less than that now. See if the timekeeper has sorted out the stoppage for Baltazar's mouthpiece coming out. Mayweather just fell back into the ring pads, coming to the end of round number 5. With a frustrated Tony Baltazar having problems against Mayweather.